There has been enough and more acceptance of electric cars in the relatively mass segment thanks to Tata's Nexon EV and whatever MG has been able to do with its ZS EV. But it's really in the luxury segment that the game of electric cars is really serious and very competitive. For most of the industry players, when it comes to electric cars, the top-down approach works very well, and the Volkswagen Group displays that extremely well. Porsche, of course, led the race with its Taycan, and Audi has a wide range of electric offerings in its portfolio, which now gets extended with the Q8 e-tron SUV and its sexier sibling in the Sportback form. And this proves the group's top-down thinking, and Skoda and Volkswagen are also going to get their EVs subsequently. Today, it's all about the Q8 e-tron, which on appeal factor alone is not really in the same spectrum as the Q8 Sportback e-tron. But this is a damn sight better on practicality if that is what you're chasing. The exterior design of the Q8 is very buttoned up, typical Audi affair. It's a very formal looking SUV which does not really have the design flair or the aggression of its peers from Mercedes and BMW, but that's okay, I guess. The days of in-your-face design by Audi are long in the past now. Now the company is doing some fantastic and desirable shapes. The e-tron GT and its RS version, they look a far sight better than Porsche's Taycan, for instance. And Audi's sports cars are still quite smart, and some SUVs are reasonably good as well. Just that in Audi's portfolio, this one is a bit muted and conservative. It's not evocative or expressive. The Sportback though, that is. But there are still some cool bits. The logo is now a flat 2D element encased in glass. It looks absolutely great. At the front, there is a light strip that runs underneath the upper lip of the grille area. And just generally also, Audi does a pretty fantastic job with its matrix LED light technology, and it makes some very entertaining dance moves upon startup. Inside, what greets you first is the layered design of the dashboard. It's done pretty damn well, and it's drenched in great material quality. Everywhere you touch, it's nice and soft, and the three-tone color treatment works very well. The design is such that it gives you a sense that the dashboard is closer to you than in the other cars. That's on the other side, which is the passenger side, but that is intentional. It's a tapering design and becomes narrower towards the driver's side. The two screens in the center, they're also angled slightly towards the driver. I've had an issue with this two-screen layout in Audis, and I will maintain my reservation with this car as well. Many manufacturers now are increasingly doing away with physical buttons, and the features and important controls are all accessed through screens, and that's just plain silly in my book. But I'll still perhaps feel okay if the HVAC controls are in the main screen, a little high up in the dash, so that you can at most just give a glance and then you do your temperature and the fan speed settings. But in the Q8 e-tron, the HVAC controls are in the screen at the bottom, and that's very concerning. Because when you drive and feel like adjusting the HVAC settings, you will have to look down. You will have no view of the road even in your peripheral vision. And that can be downright dangerous, especially on our roads with uncertainties around everywhere. So that's maybe something that designers at Audi might want to look at in the newer cars. That done with, the MMI is really good. The touch response is pretty slick, and there is haptic feedback to tell you that you have selected something instead of reconfirming every input with a second glance on the screen. The readouts in the instrument pod, they're also very, very crisp, and they give you all the info that you want. So it's all pretty good in here. The Q8 e-tron gets a 4-zone air conditioning system. That means the driver and the front passenger and the two passengers in the rear, they can all adjust the temperatures according to their own comfort, and that's great. On features, there is a lovely Bang & Olufsen sound system with over 700 watts of output through 16 speakers. There are, of course, Type-C ports and Audi's phone boxes here as well. There is Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and these are two things which are becoming quite the norm across the segments now. There is also driver assist function with lane departure warning and cruise control. Coming to the seats, the front ones are absolutely lovely. Very nice contours, great cushioning, and they feel good to sit on. Plus, there is ample space on offer as well. At the back, it's a bench with 60-40 split, and the cushioning is absolutely fine. It's a space that I think is just about average for a car of this size. With the front seats adjusted to my driving or seating position, I got decent knee room. I wouldn't say that it's immense, but it is respectable. The standard Q8 is a much larger car, so the space in that is a lot more as well. The Q8 e-tron is largely going to be chauffeur-driven. The space at the rear should have been slightly better, but otherwise the seat is absolutely fine. The recline angle is good, and you also get sun blinds at the rear, and that elevates the experience as well. Practicality, fairly decent. There are big door bins all around, and the armrests, both the front and the rear ones, they offer storage, and the open space behind this gear shifter is also pretty decent. The boot space is just about adequate, I think, and there is a frunk, which is basically a trunk under the bonnet. And this, of course, being an all-electric car, the frunk stores the charger and its cable. So you don't really have the cable hanging around and intruding into the usable luggage area at the back. Now on to how this powertrain feels and how is the Q8 e-tron to drive. Firstly, the Q8 e-tron weighs in at a smidgen under 2.6 tons unladen, and when it is fully loaded up with 4 people and their luggage, etc., the weight goes up to just a little under 3.2 tons. That's a heavy load to shift. But the Q8 e-tron comes with a 114 kilowatt-hour battery pack with usable battery energy of 106 kilowatt-hour. It has a claimed WLTP range of 582 kilometers for the SUV and 600 kilometers for the Sportback. Peak power is 300 kilowatt or 408 horsepower. The motor's peak torque with all the gearing factored in is 664 Newton meter. This is good enough for this bulk, and the Q8 e-tron, while no neck snapping experience, displays a good and linear build-up of speed. The steering feels okay, not feelsome as such, but not too synthetic either. You will get a sense of what the steering wants the tires to do, and it gives you good confidence through direct enough response. Braking performance is adequate. Again, like the progressive feel of acceleration, it sheds speed also in a linear manner and without any suddenness felt in the cabin. There are 3 levels of braking region in the Q8 e-tron. Level 1 is very moderate and builds about 0.06 G, which goes up to 0.13 G in level 2, and level 3 can measure in at about 0.3 G with force application on the brake pedal. Can you do single pedal driving in the Q8 e-tron? Maybe, but it's not as aggressive on deceleration as some other cars. As with almost all the other Audis, the Q8 e-tron also has drive modes, and you select the drive mode through this haptic button down here on the screen. You get 5 options: efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, and then of course you can calibrate things according to your own choice in the individual mode as well. But the ride quality is the highlight for me. Absolutely greatly tuned adaptive air suspension. It really does not get bothered much and lends this SUV a very good overall dynamic balance. It is not a driver's car, it is not the most entertaining, and it does not even pretend to be. That is what makes this car endearing in some way. It just goes about doing the job of ferrying a family in comfort and silence in a very straight-faced way. The Q8 e-tron can take a feed of up to 170 kilowatt, and at full fast supply, it will fuel up the battery from 10 to 80% in about 31 minutes. If it gets charged through an AC supply of 11 kilowatt, it will take about 8.5 hours and 4.5 hours if it is on a 22 kilowatt AC supply. The Q8 e-tron is a pretty fine motor car. It's very silent, it's got fairly decent performance level as well for the type of product that it is. It is refined, adequately comfortable as well. Would I have liked a bit more space on the inside? Absolutely. A bit more flair in the exterior design? Totally. But then, for that, there is a Sportback version of this car. Its main competition is against the fabulously charming Jaguar I-Pace. But Jaguar has not really broken any sales boundaries with that one. So really, the Q8 e-tron is in a space of its own, rivaled by its own sexier sibling. It is okay as a tool, as a blunt instrument of transportation, because that's exactly what it is. It is a non-emotional car, and you will be pretty non-emotional about it. It's a car that does your daily chores and the bland commutes in utmost comfort and great silence. For an experience that leans on the tangent of fun, you should look elsewhere.